Håkan Winberg from Sweden. I'm the CFO. I've been all my life, and I worked 23 years with Securitas, and that's how I came into SIS. For me, the first interaction was, I think it was called Peabody Hotel in Orlando. And then I was very busy. As a CFO, then you do meetings all the time and you have to check out how it's going and so on. But then Uday Singh, that was the CEO, and Vituar Singh, they wanted to talk to me as well, because I think they thought that Thomas and I came as a couple. And if they don't talk to me, Thomas wouldn't do anything. And if they don't talk to Thomas, Håkan wouldn't do anything. So we met at the hotel, and that was, for me at least, a very pleasant experience. It was a young, eager boy, had studied in Leeds, I think, financials. And then it was Uday, seasoned CEO of Carl and so on. And they gave an impression that they were a much bigger company than they were. So I go often by heart and guts. So I thought it was a really nice VP. I've learned to like the service industry, Securitas, building a culture, and so on. And then what you find is when you meet people with the same mind, that's what you like then. So it's, for me, it's a little bit about proving to the rest of the world that you actually can do something fantastic. And then you get this feeling with Uday and Vituash together that, well, maybe it's interesting to work with them. Investing in SIS came a little bit later, but the main reason was that, for me at least, that I found India very interesting. We knew that there are lots of people, and now, you can say 20 years later, India is the biggest population-wise country in the world. And also, we had a high belief that security is a very special business to be in. You can grow with the economy, you can develop, and you do something good as well, because you provide employment, you try to work with salaries and so on. And then combining that with the people we met, that was really more a heart and brain decision rather than just a brain decision. So it was like choosing someone to work with for a long time. So that was my reason for investing in SIS. Maybe I'd mention one thing. When was before we had invested in SIS, I think it was 2006. Then Vituash took me to Goa, the training sector. And then, I mean, that was a memorable moment. It was the joy of the first time, but it was also the joy of educating people and having then moved into a job. And I think there was a lot of proudness from SIS that they could do this. And I especially remember, I shouldn't go into politics or anything like that, but this openness of religion and so on. And I've always thought that was interesting, the culture of being open rather than the culture of being closed. So that was a memorable moment. Then I decided when I left Securitas and said that I would document my experiences in security in a book. And then I had the pleasure, I think this was in 2015 or something, to spend half a day with R.K. Sinian and have him tell the story of SIS. And I think it was enjoyable because you knew a little bit about the company, and then you could sort of lean back and enjoy the story of SIS, how important the guard is, how important the value system is, and things like that. So that half a day, and if you do read my book, you will find that it's actually RK's words straight out that comes from, because he talks like writing a book. So I talk too much, but he talked just enough to be very clear, precise. So that was an enjoyable moment for me. A very critical challenge is to take care of the people, because without the people you are nothing, right? And the most critical thing to drive the security industry for me is to increase salaries so that it becomes a worthwhile job. So, and that's a challenge all the time. So, and that means you have to keep the relative pace to the rest of the industry. And then that will also drive the need for technical equipment, smarter solutions, and so on. Because, that's the good circle. Higher salaries, more specialization, better goals, more technical involvement or security. So that's the challenge all the time. And then to get the customer to pay for it. Well, I remember I've also been to many annual conferences, unfortunately broken a little bit by the pandemic, but it was always a teamwork. So between Uday Singh, the CEO, and between Rituraj, and between the founder, Mr. R.K. Simya. And then, in a way, he always gave a speech on the conferences. And again, then he spoke very clearly, not so fast as I'm speaking or talking right now, but he makes you listen. And then he has a very important message to tell. So that's something that I will treasure, to have listened to the basic values from the founder himself. Though I think as many companies, you have challenges when you're in different phases of your development. So, for example, I think one very significant step was when Uday came on board. Then suddenly it became 3 people, Rituraj, who then had a mentor in Uday, and the father and the founder. And when they 3 worked together, they changed the direction. Then I think, as Thomas mentioned as well, a big thing was the listing of the company to become public and work on being recognized as a professional company. But then now, even I am getting older by the day, that your hair gets grayer and everything. So I think that the challenge is to renew the energy in the company and to find new people. And that's sort of difficult because things change and people change and the company grows bigger. So it's a challenge from many ways. And I think that's the biggest challenge, to find entrepreneurs with a good sense for doing good security business. And that's a big challenge for them. It's from the early days when RK was told by his mentor, go out and make a business of this. That was the game changer to start the company. Then when RK was, you can say, mature to realize that he needed someone else in the mix, so he hired Uday. And that was a game changer if you look at the size of the company and so on. And then again, that the acquisition of the Australian company, which was something to prove that Indians can do things everywhere and even in Australia or even in somewhere else. So that was also a game changer, but I think more in the heads of people than maybe financially. So that those things are soft things that change the SIS step by step. To hire Uday was an audacious move because it's all about people, and then sometimes you think that you're so much needed yourself. I shouldn't say something like that, but and then to give the responsibility doesn't mean that you're not taking credit or so on, but you actually gain something as a team. I think that was a very important step. And then again, now Rituraj is the CEO and so on. And then that define the ways to keep the entrepreneurial spirit. I think there have to be more audacious moves going forward. Is that what's called BHAG? Yes, big, hairy, audacious goals. And I have a goal. Be biased. There's one word you're very good to express in Indian. It's world leader or the world's best security company. But I think that my goal would be that there's an opportunity here to create electronics and things to move fast. And that means that SIS, even if it's not the biggest or it's not everywhere, it could be the world leader of security solutions. That would be interesting for me to take on as a challenge. And then the financials will follow. But really to go for to be the most knowledgeable and the best provider of security solutions. I mean, people make the difference. And Mr. Senior once told me, and I don't want to be a preacher in that sense, but happy employees makes happy customers, make happy shareholders. And I think that never forget that people make the difference, and that I wish you all the best as employees of SIS and citizens in Ethiopia. So for me, it's been 20 years now for us, even if SIS has been 50 years. And for me, it is to come back. You can say you can't make business on friends, but you can make friends in business. And then for me now to come and maybe to be able to celebrate Diwali, it's a good thing for me. So I don't know if that's a message, but at least that's what I feel. That's one of the strong things about this, that you make friends and understand that the world is not so different. We're all humans.
So my first memories of SIS actually go back to very initial 80s. Not really office people. They were like घर के बड़ों के जैसे. पापा भी उनको ट्रीट करते थे, फाउंडर चेयरमैन. मदर भी वैसे ही उनको ट्रीट करती थी घर के बड़ों के जैसे. तो हम भी वैसे ही ट्रीट करते थे. There was no separation between business and family. It was all one big family.